Hi, I'm Spiders, a top 250 Deepwoken player. Here are my top 5 PvP mechanics that you should learn in order to improve your PvP. The first mechanic I'd like to mention is very important for creating good combos, and that is hit stun. Hit stun is a mechanic where after hitting your opponent, they are significantly slowed, not able to dodge or attack, and blocking is disabled to an extent. Hit stun is applied by landing in M1, or some, notably not all, mantras. The reason that hit stun is powerful is because if you are able to apply hit stun to your opponent, you can practically guarantee your next hit for some mantras. For example, one of these mantras is Rising Wind. Normally, it is very difficult to land Rising Wind because it has a tiny hitbox and it's hard to directly hit your opponent with it. However, if you are able to M1 or uppercut someone first and apply hit stun, Rising Wind is almost guaranteed to hit, since your opponent is slowed in one place, unable to block in time, and they are not able to dodge or hit you through the hit stun. Some other mantras that hit stun can be combined with are Ice Eruption, Rising Shadow, and Burning Servants, though really most low windup or unparryable mantras should work. Ultimately, hit stun is a mechanic that can significantly boost the strength of some mantras, so try to use that to your advantage. The next mechanic I'd like to talk about is Fainting. Fainting is a mechanic that everyone knows about, and is a mechanic that I could really talk on and on about, so I'll just cover some main points. Something big that I'd like to say right off the bat is to avoid M1 fainting. This may be a little bit controversial of a statement, so let me explain. M1 fainting is bad, primarily because of its 0.2 second end lag, which in a game like Deepwoken is huge. However, there's a way that you can avoid this end lag, and that is through mantra fainting. Even if you are not on something like Gale that receives additional benefits from mantra fainting is significantly better than M1 fainting, since you can avoid the end lag of M1 fainting while also having the same effective fainting. Also, the statement does not count the M1 fainting, where you use a mantra during the M1ing animation to cancel the M1, as this also bypasses the M1 feint and lag, and can be beneficial in many circumstances. Stemming off this, a part of fainting that I would like to mention is double fainting. By first M1ing, then using a mantra to cancel that M1, then fainting that mantra, you can effectively feint twice in a row. By doing this, you can bait your opponent into wasting their parry on the first feint, and their dodge on the second feint, leaving them with their only defensive options being tap dancer or blocking, which you can take advantage of through various means. An underrated yet powerful mechanic is masking animations. Some mantras and weapon criticals give your opponent auto parry frames when parried, allowing them to attack while parrying automatically. When this happens, it is extremely difficult to tell whether or not your opponent is attacking you, or what attack they may be doing. Some examples of attacks that allow this to happen are the Gale Hero Blade crit, Blinding Dawn, Rapier crit, and Ice Daggers, but there are several more mantras that fit in this category. Because of this animation masking issue, many players, especially more experienced players, have begun to parry even when they don't see a swing animation because of how common punishes are during animation hiding frames. As a result, if you notice your opponent doing this common blind parrying habit, you can punish them by using a block breaking mantra, as it is very difficult for your opponent to tell if you are M1ing or using a mantra when your animations are hidden. This section may have been difficult to understand, so if there is one main takeaway you should have from this mechanic, it's to be aware of your opponent when their animations are hidden, and to use hidden animations to your advantage when possible. Another mechanic that impacts every fight that you should be aware of is parry stun. When you parry your opponent's attacks, it applies parry stun, which gives them a delay before being able to attack, and reduces their movement speed. This is what causes parry trades to occur, since the delay before being able to attack is meant to allow the person who parries to always get the first swing in, so the person who swings alternates based on who parries. Something that people don't know though, is that you can bypass this mechanic by using aerials and uppercuts, which for whatever reason aren't affected by parry stun. Since most people don't know about this mechanic, this catches the majority of the player base off guard, also being very strong against an average player, and still effective against good players as well. So make sure you keep this mechanic in mind, especially during 1v1s where you don't have many mantras, such as if you're Silent Heart. The last mechanic that I'll be mentioning in this video is end lag. End lag is a period where you can't do anything after an action, leaving you vulnerable to attacks. Every M1 attack has some end lag to it, even if it doesn't stay on the weapon's stats. Mantras also have varying amounts of end lag, with some having 0 seconds of end lag, and others having over a second of end lag. End lag leaves you in a vulnerable state, so it's best to try to land your hits on your opponent, such that they're forced to at least respond by parrying or dodging, instead of being able to attack you while you're in end lag. Also, if you notice your opponent whiffing a lot of attacks, if you know they're going to miss, try to punish them for their end lag instead of parrying or dodging. Overall, try to minimize the chances of your opponent catching you in end lag, and punish your opponent when they're caught in a vulnerable state with end lag.